Hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I'm a mom to four. I love to homeschool. I love to read books, and I talk about all of those things on this channel. So thank you for stopping by. Today's video, I want to share with you all the books that I have collected in maybe the last 3 months. I think May, June, July. So my summer book haul. So let's jump in because there's about 16 books, which is a lot for me. But our libraries are still closed, so it's not my fault. Okay. So the first one I want to share is Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. This was available last month for the Book of the Month choice, and I decided to sign up. I think I might have a link. I don't know. I'll put it below if I do. Anyway, this book looks really good. It's a thriller book. It is about a girl who grew up in a house that was supposedly haunted, that their family pretty much had to flee in the middle of the night. And then her dad went and wrote a book about the experience, kind of a non-fiction, ghosty sort of story. But she never believed it. She always doubted it, and the house got passed on to her, and she went back to live in it and fixed it up because that's what she does. And then I think it gets a little scary from there. So I'm all for that. And then the next thing I picked up was the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I picked this up as a part of the book club run through April over at Good and Hooka with It. Love her channel. And so this was the choice for the summer book club, and I just finished it. It's basically about this group of women who form a book club. They're in the 90s. They're kind of have teenage kids, so they're older moms. They're stay-at-home moms. They're kind of bored, and they have this book club that they read a lot of true crime and mystery thriller. And then this man moves into the neighborhood and gets to know them, and crazy things are happening. And they start to suspect that he could be a vampire, and it goes from there. And I enjoyed this. I am not a horror person, and when I get scared, which I'm a little bit of a scaredy cat with books, I just skim. I'm like skim, 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 skim. So I skimmed a little bit of this, but it wasn't all horror. It was really good character development and stuff. So anyway, I picked that up as well. So the next book I also picked up was Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I've heard a number of good things about this book, and so I've been wanting to get it. It's about this girl who lives in the marsh. I think she lives alone in the marsh. Maybe she grew up kind of abandoned in North Carolina. I'm not sure. But I believe there is a boy that is found dead in the marsh, and people blame her for some reason, but that might be all I know. I've just heard really good things about it being a great summer book. It's kind of hot and muggy and marsh-like that people want to pick it up in the summer, and so that kind of sounds appealing to me. And so the next book I picked up was The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes, and I've heard good things about this book as well. This is a historical fiction set. It's in America. It's in Kentucky. So at this time there was a program put out by Eleanor Roosevelt to bring books to people who didn't have libraries. So it was a traveling library, and there's these women that sign up to be a part of it. And so they go kind of deeper into the mountains or deeper west to bring people books. And then it's kind of their hardships or the things that happen along the way and the friendships that are developed, to my understanding. But it sounds really good, and a number of people that I follow on BookTube have really liked it. So I'm excited about that one. The next book I picked up, actually the next 2 books I picked up were kind of in response to Black Lives Matter, and I just want to educate myself better on all of that. And so I picked up White Rage, and I'm in the process of reading it. I found it to be a hard book to read. It's just a very compelling and heart-wrenching book to read, where you hear about the experience of African Americans in America post-Civil War to the present. I had just finished up the chapter about Reconstruction, so after the Civil War, how they were putting things back together and the things that just could have been done better, and that might have resulted in a better situation currently. And the next book I picked up was Raising White Kids, Bringing Up Children in a Racially Unjust America by Jennifer Harvey. So this just looks really good. I've had this recommended by a number of people for many years, and I've been wanting to read it. From my understanding, it looks to be just a really helpful book in how to talk to our kids about race, how to talk to our kids about the situation in America today. And so I could use all the help I can get, and just to be able to pre-think some ideas, because my kids are still pretty young, to pre-think some ideas and then be able to approach them more naturally. The next two books I actually picked up for my husband for his birthday, but I'm going to show you them anyway because I plan on reading them. So the first one I got him was Red Notice. It says, a true story of high finance, murder, and one man's fight for justice. This book I heard about from Reagan over at Peru's Project. I enjoy her vlogs. She has some of the most fun vlogs. So this book is a true story. And to my understanding, it was about this man who was involved in running like an investment fund for Russia right after the Soviet Union collapsed, I believe. Just being so closely associated with the country and the Kremlin, he started to learn things and discover things and find secrets out. And then like I think a person close to him, it might have been a lawyer friend of his, gets put in jail and tortured to death, and like he is exposing all of these things. So it's exposing some of the corruption in the Kremlin, and it's a true story, and it's about finance. And so it's like one of those things where you explain it and you're like, it's about finance and like espionage, I think. And so it sounds really good. So I picked that up for him. He is a huge documentary lover, and so I was trying to think of what books are kind of like documentaries in book form. And I also picked up The Only Plane in the Sky, an oral history of 9/11. So, but this is by Garrett M. Graff. This looks excellent. He is really enjoying it too. He's almost done with it. And from what my understanding of it is it's a compilation of a lot of different testimonies of the people who survived. So you're talking firefighters, people in the tower, people on planes, things like that. And it's making this storyline from all their different perspectives. And it just sounds really, really good. And I just feel like I won't lose this spot. I just feel like I could learn more about that. And I like learning about it almost through the transcripts of the people who lived it. So this sounds good, and it's gotten really, really good reviews. Okay, the next book. Oh, this one's fun. I've had on my list for a while. So this is Life After Life by Kate Atkinson. So this is a time-bendy sort of book, which I really enjoy. Books that kind of mess with time a little bit. So this is about a girl, Ursula. She's born in the early 1900s, and she lives, then she dies, and then she's born again, and then she lives, she dies, she's born again, and she just lives all these different lives that go different directions each time she's born, but she always comes back. And so it just tells her story, and I think it has something to do with World War II, and then feeling like, well, maybe she can make a difference. Like she knows so much, she has lived and died and lived and died. It just sounds interesting. I am not sure where it's going to end, but I really like the books that do that. I actually have another one you'll see here in a few that kind of is similar to that idea. So, oh, and the next book I picked up, I'm excited about this because it's been on my list. I've actually been on the waiting list at my library for the audiobook for like 9 months, and so I just bought it. I bought a used copy that's in like amazing condition of Becoming by Michelle Obama. I just want to hear more about her life. I respect her as a person. She seems like such a strong woman, and I would love to hear about her childhood. I'd love to hear about how she met Barack Obama and started their family. And I know that they struggled a little bit with infertility, and I know she shares a bit about that in this book. And then just more about the presidency and all those things. I just feel like she is just a figure of such strong womanhood that I just really, really want to read her book. So I ran a Spring Through the Genres series on my channel maybe in March, and I highlighted a lot of books that I had on my list, and I have since picked up a number of them as I'm seeing that. So Martian, Becoming, all of those were on the list. And so this is a book that I've seen the movie, Matt Damon, loved it. And so this is about the first trip to Mars, the first crew that goes to Mars and steps foot on the planet, and all the prep that goes with that, and then his story about being left behind, about there being an accident, there being a sandstorm, and he was accidentally left behind, and he's forced to fend for himself to figure out how to get enough food, how to make sure he's getting proper oxygen, how to fix any communication satellite type stuff to try and relay his needs back to Earth to get a ship faster. All of those things are in this book, and I've heard it's really good. His character is just funny and just really entertaining to read about, so I'm looking forward to this one. let's see. Okay, the next book is a Gillian Flynn book. I've read Gone Girl. I liked it. I haven't read any of her other books, and so I wanted to read another. And this one's pretty small. Maybe I'll read this for Thrillerathon. That's in August. I don't know. Anyway, this is a book about a girl who becomes a reporter, and she's been sent back to her hometown to cover the murder of 2 preteen girls. And so she gets to her hometown. She has to stay with her family, which I feel like there's some issues there. And then it sounds like some part of these murders, bring back her past. And so it all gets tied together. Gillian Flynn obviously is known for psychological thrillers, so I expect a decent amount of that in this book. So I'm looking forward to that one. This is another book that I am reading for a book club for this month, July. So this is Revolution by Jennifer Donnelly. This is a historical fiction book. It's YA. It's about a girl in modern day, Andy, who has some family problems, it sounds like, and her dad sends her to Paris. And then she finds a diary of this girl that used to live in Paris like 200 years ago. She reads the story, and then I think somehow the stories collide, like she maybe gets sucked into 200 years ago Paris. I'm not sure. Sounds good. I really liked These Shallow Graves by Jennifer Donnelly, so when this was an option, I voted for this book. So looking forward to that one. Okay, let's see. This is a good one. So I picked up Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This sounds great. It's a gothic mystery book that I actually did pick up specifically for the reading rush this year. So this is about a girl who meets this man, I think on a ship, it might not say. And then they have this whirlwind romance and get married, and he brings her back to his estate. It's called Manderley. So he has this big kind of estate, so he's definitely well-to-do, and she's not, to my understanding. And then she gets back there, and he kind of thrusts her into life there, and it's a little overwhelming. The staff and the people that live at Manderley loved his old wife, and her name was Rebecca. And so this new wife is fighting against Rebecca's memory, and I don't know if it's a ghost, she's fighting against a ghost, or if there's some kind of creepiness in this book, but it sounds good nonetheless. So I picked that one up. The next one I picked up is also, like I said, kind of a time-bendy book. And so this was also in my Spring Through the Genres series. So this is called The First 15 Lives of Harry August by Claire North. And this book is about a man, Harry August, who lives life over and over and over again, but he can never change it. And he always remembers what happens. So like he dies and then he wakes up with all the memories from a previous life, to my understanding, but he can't do anything to change it until like one of his the 11th life, he actually gets a message from a doctor right before he dies that's like, I have a message for you. And I think it's a message from a past self or a future self. I don't know. It sounds really good. Like I said, I really like that kind of plot line. So last book is An American Marriage by Terry Jones. And this also was in the Spring Through the Genre series, a contemporary book that I want to read. And so this is about an African-American couple who have a good marriage. They're like recently married, they're happy, they're buying a house, and then something happens and this man gets accused of a crime he did not commit. And he gets sent to prison. And then the story is, I think, about that, about their marriage with him being in prison, wrongfully accused. Does she wait for him? Does she appeal? I think it's all of that stuff, and it just sounds really good and really hard to read about, but I've heard nothing but good things about this book. So I'm excited to get to this one as well. So anyway, so that's a lot of books. I'm looking at them all here. Sorry, I know you can't see them, but it's a lot of books, and I'm really excited to get to all of them. So I hope you found one that maybe you haven't heard of that you can add to your TBR. Let me know if you have read any of these and what you thought about them. And otherwise, that's all I have for this video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel if you like what you see. And otherwise, I will see you in the next video. All right, take care. Bye.